It's 10 o'clock. This is Sky News at 10. Our top story. Prince Andrew announces he's given up his royal titles and will no longer be known as the Duke of York.
Winter blanketed the Swiss Alps, transforming the quaint village of Verbier into a winter wonderland, complete with snow-covered chalets and a serene atmosphere. Among these luxurious retreats stood a notorious property, Prince Andrew's £13 million holiday villa. For years, this villa had been Andrew's refuge from the prying eyes of the UK media and royal gossip.
What did some of the memories of walking down this corridor bring to you as a child?
Oh, well, this is a corridor that we didn't ever come on. My grandmother.
However, in February 2023, a routine check of the area revealed unexpected secrets that extended far beyond the picturesque landscape. The discovery was made not by police or journalists, but by Marie Claire Dubois, the local manager hired to oversee the villa while Andrew was absent. Marie Claire had been conducting standard maintenance when she noticed something amiss. The villa had remained empty for a staggering 18 months, a long time even for the ultra-wealthy. Following his disastrous interview on Newsnight and an out-of-court settlement with Virginia Giuffre, Andrew had largely vanished, leaving the villa to gather dust and mystery. On a chilly February morning, Marie Claire entered through the back door, her breath visible in the frigid air. The sprawling villa, with 6 floors of opulent luxury, was impressive, featuring Persian rugs, Venetian chandeliers, and exquisite paintings that caught her eye. However, what truly intrigued her was a locked door on the 3rd floor, hidden in a hallway she had never seen before. Those in real estate often develop an instinct for hidden features in properties. This door appeared simple, but the advanced lock suggested it concealed something more significant than just valuables. During her tour, she realized the room didn't even exist on the blueprints provided by the local council, according to the official plans. That section of the 3rd floor shouldn't have been there at all. Feeling uneasy, Marie Claire called the London-based law firm managing the property, well known for representing aristocrats. The response she received felt scripted as they brushed off her concerns, saying the room contained personal items and family keepsakes. However, their nonchalant attitude raised alarm bells for Marie Claire. Lawyers don't typically worry about trivial matters like heirlooms. Determined to uncover the truth, Marie Claire sensed that there was something buried in that locked room. After years of dealing with secretive owners, her instincts told her that all was not as it seemed. Speculation arose over whether she contacted Swiss authorities out of concern about insurance issues, or whether she was chasing a lucrative payoff from the press. Regardless of her motives, just 3 days later, local police arrived at the villa with a couple of attorneys and a locksmith skilled in breaking high-tech locks. With their help, the locked door was finally opened, revealing a hidden area that shouldn't have existed at all. The true nature of what lay beyond that door raised even more questions. The quiet village of Verbier had just been drawn into a whirlwind of intrigue, and the secrets of Prince Andrew's holiday villa were about to unfold. The mystery surrounding the villa hinted at a deeper story that transcended its snowy facade, captivating the interest of both locals and the media alike. In a hidden room about 20 square meters in size, devoid of windows, the atmosphere felt like a museum, with controlled temperatures. The air held a distinctive scent, reminiscent of aged leather and crisp paper, items kept in immaculate condition. Within this space, revelations shocked Buckingham Palace and unearthed long-buried secrets. 7 filing cabinets stood neatly arranged, containing documents dating back 3 decades. The contents revealed money trails leading to offshore accounts used to hide cash, letters connecting Prince Andrew to individuals involved in global arms trading, and photos, some innocuous, others decidedly risky. The most alarming discovery was a series of insurance files, suggesting Andrew had kept these documents not for nostalgia, but as leverage against potential threats. The evidence linked Andrew to Jeffrey Epstein more deeply than he had admitted publicly. Flight logs contradicted his previous claims, while payments were traced through intermediaries. Emails illustrated a relationship that went beyond casual exchanges. It was an unsettling tie of mutual benefit that alarmed even seasoned professionals in the field. Andrew had previously dismissed his connection to Epstein as a careless mistake involving a convicted sex offender, but these documents painted a far more complex and troubling picture. However, the connection to Epstein was just one part of the story. The cabinets also contained evidence of Andrew's activities as Britain's trade representative. Names of dictators and oligarchs appeared alongside records of payoffs and favors exchanged. This dual life he led, balancing royal duties with questionable financial dealings, was rendered starkly apparent. Swiss officials, aware of the international implications, proceeded cautiously, documenting everything, and eventually reached out to the British embassy in Bern. What followed was shrouded in diplomatic red tape. Still, the essence of the situation leaked out. The royal family was facing a crisis that threatened to unravel not just Andrew's position, but potentially the entire royal institution. The news reached Buckingham Palace through secure channels, and ultimately reached King Charles. Just months into his reign following Queen Elizabeth's death, Charles faced a challenge his mother had sidestepped for years. Andrew was a perennial source of controversy, but this time, the evidence was undeniable. A meeting was hastily convened in a back office, out of public view. Present were Charles, his top aide, the household manager, and legal advisors experienced in royal crises. Sir Edward Llewellyn joined via video call. He was an expert in navigating complex diplomatic situations. As the gravity of the situation unfolded, it became clear that Andrew had indeed kept a stash of insurance files. The realization hit Charles personally. Andrew hadn't simply made mistakes. He had prepared documents that could be used against the family if he was ever cast aside. The lawyer's advice was straightforward. A public leak would be catastrophic. Investigations would likely ensue worldwide, implicating Andrew and the royal family for permitting his questionable actions to persist. They recognized that this evidence shed light on Andrew's shady dealings, now glaringly evident. Faced with limited options, Charles had to choose a path: claim royal immunity, risking chaos, respond openly, allowing scandals to surface, or negotiate discreetly, leveraging quiet influence. He opted for a middle ground, maintain some secrecy while cooperating fully on legitimate matters, controlling potential fallout. While this approach irked many, it avoided the worst-case scenario. Ultimately, Andrew's royal role was over, no returning to the royal fold. The family publicly struggled with how to address the situation. William, concerned about his uncle's impact on the crown's reputation, pushed for transparency. Let's deal with it now rather than letting leaks fester. Anne, Charles's sister, expressed her long-held disdain for Andrew's entitlement, advocating for his complete removal from royal duties and benefits. Camilla observed the family turmoil with her usual calmness. She had learned the hard way how media scandals could explode. Survival in their world meant avoiding favorites. But this situation involved Charles's brother, tangled in memories and old loyalties. Edward and Sophie, known for their low-key lives, felt alarmed. They had built a drama-free existence, and now this scandal threatened to pull them under. Reporters bombarded them with questions, forcing Edward to confront the painful reality of a brother he once felt close to, now seemingly distant. The younger generation also felt the ripple effects. Harry, watching from California, experienced mixed emotions. While the media storm validated his concerns about the family's priorities, there was no satisfaction in seeing Andrew, the flawed family member, in the spotlight. For Beatrice and Eugenie, the fallout was heartbreaking. They adored their father and had publicly supported him as his reputation suffered, but this situation was undeniable. They urged him to take responsibility, apologize, and move on, but he claimed he was being wronged, which only strained their bond further. Tensions in the palace escalated. Raised voices leaked through closed doors as Charles clashed with William over how to handle the situation. Charles argued that destroying Andrew would not resolve deeper issues within the family, while William countered that coddling him would be equally damaging. This disagreement marked a fundamental rift between father and son, between mercy and the need to survive. Outside the palace, feelings intensified. Leaks from the villa sparked outrage as Parliament launched investigations into royal finances, prompting protests demanding accountability. What initially began as scrutiny on Andrew expanded to question the entire system that had enabled his behavior. How had offshore funds gone unnoticed? Who had approved his questionable dealings? The connections to Epstein were already a scandal. Now, this was exposing systemic issues that allowed such actions to go unchecked. Public opinion shifted rapidly. Longtime supporters began to doubt the monarchy's relevance, and younger generations expressed their discontent. Media outlets called for reforms and streamlined royal operations. Charles realized that the old ways of keeping secrets were no longer viable. To survive, he needed to abandon the image of a perfect monarchy. William took the lead in calling for change, emphasizing the need for authenticity over maintaining an illusion of flawlessness. Anne agreed with his practical approach, and Camilla quietly supported William's vision. Faced with the burden of guilt, Charles ultimately acknowledged that shielding Andrew could jeopardize the family's future. Official statements emerged cautiously, indicating that Andrew was cooperating with investigations and that the family sought transparency while respecting legal protocols. However, behind the scenes, panic set in. Accountants were tracking down finances, security teams were assessing risks, and lawyers were negotiating settlements that involved releasing information from Switzerland. As spring unfolded in London, more details leaked out, revealing Andrew not as a bumbling fool, but as a cunning operator. Financial documents indicated a web of hidden accounts in places like the British Virgin Islands and Panama, with £12 million flowing from 1995 to 2018. His connections to his trade envoy role from 2001 to 2011 underscored his exploitation of his royal status for personal gain. A significant connection emerged with Timur Kulibayev, a Kazakh tycoon linked to a former dictator. Andrew had facilitated UK business deals for him, including selling his house for £3 million over the asking price. Documents suggested a straightforward quid pro quo arrangement, access to royal circles in exchange for cash. The ties to Epstein were particularly troubling. Records of undisclosed flights and visits to locations associated with abuse contradicted his previous claims of innocence. Photos surfaced, showing Andrew mingling with power players and young women at parties, painting a picture far from the casual connections he had suggested. One unsettling revelation involved Andrew's handwritten notes, which conveyed his feelings of jealousy and a sense of being underappreciated within the family. A note from 2019 hinted at his awareness of the possibility of betrayal. "If they throw me under, I've got backups. They'll regret it." This admission illustrated the complicated dynamics at play and signaled that, despite the chaos, Andrew was prepared to fight back. Everything shifted dramatically within the royal family. What had once seemed like private mistakes became weapons used against each other. Concerns about foreign intelligence connections surfaced, particularly regarding Andrew, who might have been unknowingly groomed for espionage. While he didn't sell state secrets, the risks involved raised alarms about national security. Public sentiment turned cold after the Jufer scandal. Files revealed decades of murky behavior and a system that allowed royals to evade accountability for actions that would have landed ordinary people in jail. The disconnect between the royal image and reality became impossible to ignore. Family conversations, long avoided, erupted into chaos. The royals, usually adept at maintaining a facade of unity, began to fracture. Loyalty clashed with survival instincts. Charles struggled to balance his feelings for Andrew, who had always been a favorite, with his responsibilities as king. He knew that for the monarchy to survive, it must adapt to changing times. William's desire for a thorough investigation to restore trust caused tension. Charles, still haunted by the fallout from Diana's divorce, hesitated. He understood the ramifications of exile. Anne expressed her discontent, noting that while she had worked hard, Andrew had faced no consequences, undermining her efforts. Camilla, supportive yet pragmatic, recognized the danger of what was unfolding. She urged Charles to act swiftly before anger took over. Meanwhile, Edward and Sophie worried quietly about their own family drama being exposed. Outside pressures only intensified. Harry watched from a distance, feeling that the dysfunction he had long criticized was now evident to everyone. Beatrice and Eugenie found themselves heartbroken. They defended Andrew, but the files revealed the stark truth. They sought cooperation but received silence in return. Their feelings were complicated by love, resentment, and fear of fallout. Tempers flared as courtiers overheard heated arguments. It became a battle of mercy versus harsh reality. The pressure mounted. Investigations, protests, and questions about the royal system surged. The Epstein and Giuffre issues felt personal, revealing an underlying structure of unchecked privilege. Eventually, the royal family recognized the need for change. Public opinion had shifted, with calls for reform growing louder. The palace planned audits and reassessments, leading Charles to realize that the era of hiding behind privilege was over. No more free passes would be tolerated. New statements acknowledged wrongdoings without assigning blame. It was clear, Andrew would live a quiet life, stripped of titles and royal roles. The monarchy had to adapt or risk being left behind. By the summer, the urgency of the crisis had lessened, becoming a legal matter of slow progress. Investigations and discussions kept the public's attention. Andrew lost all patronages and military ties, with his royal office closing and the title of Duke becoming merely an empty formality. The villa scandal became a hub of legal scrutiny, with investigations spanning Swiss, UK, and US jurisdictions that uncovered questionable financial connections. Royals could no longer count on the discretion they once enjoyed. Charles's speech emphasized renewal through transparency, indicating a commitment to reform. As scrutiny intensified, debates over taxpayer funding loomed large. Andrew found himself isolated, residing in the Royal Lodge, once a home, now a gilded prison. Rare outings became public spectacles of his decline. While his daughters visited, the underlying tension remained as his actions disrupted their lives. Despite the lengthy legal process, pressure mounted, and demands for accountability continued. Around the world, anti-royal sentiments grew, calling for a re-evaluation of the monarchy. As one writer put it, Andrew became a privileged ghost, lingering over the family's tarnished image. The crown had survived numerous challenges, but now it faced the need for genuine accountability and the slow, complex process of rebuilding trust. The villa, once a secretive jewel, now served as a reminder of how unchecked privilege could lead to downfall.